going on? This is the Chad Factor on this March 17th. What a weird, day, since it's the 17th year, the 17th day of the third month. But hey, I digress. But this is a video review and analysis of Bury Me Here, Walking Dead episode, season 7, episode 13. I'm a little bit late to the ball game, but I had a lot of stuff to do, so I decided to do this review, and I just got done running, so forgive me if I sound a bit tired. So pretty much in this episode, we see how Carol's doing, we see how Morgan's doing, we're seeing how the kingdom is doing, and they're about to go off on a run. And basically, before they go on the run, Carol asks Morgan if Daryl's telling the truth and if everybody's really okay in Alexandria, and she seems really amped up and ready to fight. And Morgan just plainly says, listen, it's between you and Daryl. He told her that, he told Daryl she wasn't even there as requested by Carol. So, it's both of y'all business. And he offers to walk her there, but she declines and just keeps on going. And then before she leaves, young Benjamin, like King Ezekiel says, basically wants to train with her in killing zombies because he wants to have the same elements. And she says, no, just forget it, just go do your job. And Benjamin goes to go deliver the drop to the Saviors. Now I missed this part. Before any of this happened, Richard is seen digging up a burial, okay, and then there's some shopping carts in the background. So then, as they're trying to deliver the drop, the shopping carts, that scene with Richard, was actually blocking the entire freaking way. And then a grave, and then there were little clear and all these other signs. And pretty much what happened with that was that that made them late, and they believed the Saviors did all this. So they were late to the drop. They ended up being late. They basically had some exchanges here and there. The hippie dude that kept starting some bull crap was antagonizing them again. And then pretty much the king was trying to talk, and then Jerry was saying, don't interrupt the king, and then dude hit dude with the stick. And then what happened was that when the Savior, not Jared, Gavin, was going to the truck, one cantaloupe was missing. And then Gavin said, give them your guns. This is the stupidest thing you could really do. Even if they have more guns than you, which they didn't, it was the same amount of guns. Why in the world would you give your guns up in that situation where they could kill you on sight if you didn't have your guns? I still say that the kingdom is the strongest group right next to the Saviors. The kingdom would lose in the fight with the Saviors, but the kingdom pretty much is the one of the only communities that have a issue with which have strength against. Like, they would lose, but the Saviors still respect them because they know a lot of their numbers would dwindle if they go to a war with them. Because they never said stop, because it was a deal. It was a deal of power. Power respects power. But they gave the guns away, even though they didn't have to do it. That was the dumbest thing they did. And then Jared, the hippie Savior, was pointing his gun at him. And then what happened was that instead of shooting Richard, he shot Benjamin. And then Gavin told Jared to get back in the truck, don't say a word. And before they could go, Gavin interrupted Ezekiel and basically just said, listen, okay, you need to get what this is. You deal with us. This is a deal. There's no A's and I's, and we want one cantaloupe. Even though when Ezekiel missed some, he missed one. He said he can give him double that, but he still wants to get one cantaloupe. Now, many people say that at least he's good, at least he wants to get one, but my dude, you don't have to do all this when the man's trying to give you more? That's pretty much, he wants to get power over them. He wants to always be right. So he finally lets them go. They go back to the place, to Carol's house, because they can't have time to go to the kingdom. Then they go to Carol's house. They try to stop the bleeding from Benjamin, but they can't stop the bleeding, and he dies there right on the table at Carol's house. So he dies. Morgan leaves. Morgan gets angry, just screams, yells, flashbacks of season 1 through 3 of clear, with his son and killing the 2 men, cutting himself. And he just has this period of revisiting the ills and the issues and him and his sanity. He's losing his sanity. And then once he he gets angry, he finds a box and kicks it. There is the 1 cantaloupe. Then there's a flashback to when Richard told Benjamin to keep his gun up. And then he pretty much says, this has to be Richard. So he confronts Richard, has the cantaloupe, throws it on the ground, and said, it should have been me. Meaning that Richard set up the shopping carts, set up the burial, set up the signs, set up everything to pretty much try to start a war with the Saviors, and trying to egg on the kingdom and thinking that it was the Saviors doing all this. And if you look at his face, he wanted to kill Richard right then and there, but he contained himself. And he said, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell everybody what I did, and I want to lead a charge against the Saviors. And that we're going to do something to make sure that we're going to fake like we want, we get the deal and get that we have to respect them. But really, here it goes. So they end up going back to the Saviors. Ezekiel and Morgan and them have an exchange, and Morgan asks Richard if he told Ezekiel yet, and Richard wants to tell them when they get back. But Morgan is not having any of that. He doesn't want him to lead. He doesn't want him to do it because he's already messed up. Benjamin already died. He already tried to get Carol killed or maimed or something, and trying to get the Saviors. He tried to do another false flag attack with Daryl, and that failed because Daryl stopped it. So pretty much he gives them the 1 cantaloupe that they do. But before that, sorry about that. Before that, Gavin asked if Benjamin's okay, which is a surprise from a lot of the Saviors, and that he had a brief period of sadness and emotion. And he walks up to the other hippie Savior, Jared, and says, "Get the hell out of here before I kill you. And if you look or stare, I'm going to kill you right on sight." He looks at him anyway a little, but he still lets him go. But that situation, that's looking at that sense, I don't think he wants to be a savior. I think he was forced to be, or is just trying to go along with the rules so he won't get killed or his family won't get killed. But he might be part of the saviors who rebel against Negan and other saviors, Gavin, Dwight, and Sherry. So we'll see about that. But after that exchange, and after him giving him the fruit, Morgan goes clear on Richard, strangles him to death in front of everybody. Okay, just strangles him. King Ezekiel's crying his name. The people's faces are just out of just what's going on, what the hell's going on. I don't get it. Okay, all that's going on just chokes him, squeezes his windpipe, and then he can't breathe anymore. Then he explains to the Savior in the kingdom about how he set it all up, the shopping carts, how he hid the cantaloupe, how he did the burial, how he wanted to get something started with the kingdom and the Saviors. And then Morgan comes up to Gavin and pretty much and pretty much goes with Richard's plan, just that he's dead and Morgan's alive and no one is dying, and that Gavin falls for it. And if you look at his face while he's doing the killing, he's actually just flabbergasted. Like, he thought, I really believe that he thought that Morgan was going to get him next, but it's a respect thing. That's why I'm saying that the kingdom is, as a group, is the second, because they never walk on their walls. And that now that this happened, they know that if they get in a fight with them, even physically, something can happen to them. That's why they wanted to get their guns so they can make peace. But, I digress. I don't like giving away no dang guns for no reason. But pretty much they walk away. He explains to the kingdom. Morgan pretty much buries Richard where he said, "Bury me here." Buries Richard. Goes clear on some zombies. And then when we get back, Morgan tells Carol about, how he killed Richard. Asks her if she wants to know what happened in Alexandria. Then Morgan pretty much tells that Negan killed Glenn and Abraham, killed Spencer, killed Olivia, and killed the friends. And basically says that you wanted to know, and he was on his way to go kill some saviors himself because he was this man's in clear mode. But now Carol is the one trying to calm Morgan down and says you can go and not go. That's what happened. And then Carol goes back to the kingdom. And then is ready to fight, and then basically Carol just pretty much says that we need to fight the saviors. He says Sergeant the bitch was dead, but we need to fight the saviors. And Ezekiel says, yes, we do. And he says, not today. And that ends the episode. This is one of the more monumental episodes. This one is good. When the wolves attacked Alexandria was powerful, and then when Negan and Abraham. But I would say that this is definitely one of the top 3 or 4 episodes of the Walking Dead series, because of Morgan's comeback to his clear mode and him dealing with his insanity, and then him clearing, and then I forgot one more thing, of him sharpening the stick to prepare for war, to prepare for violence, going back to his original ways, and understanding that life is precious, but not all life is precious, and you have to use violence to defend yourself. So his old Buddhist teacher who taught him that, all that philosophy is gone. After his friends died, and after people he knows died, and after Benjamin died, his whole philosophy has gone away. He still is at peace, he still believes in peace, but he believes that if you want to have peace and protect your friends, you have to defend yourself and go after the people who kill you. So his whole philosophy is damaged. But then here's another thing about the show that a lot of people don't get about what Richard really did. What Richard did was treason. And what Richard did was something that actually happens in real life. And a man named Terry Wu, I forgot his name, but he basically called Richard's false flag operation. And I couldn't agree anything more, because I believe in false flag operations. And you can go into Gulf of Tonkin in the Vietnam War, or other issues, the Iraq War. 9/11 actually happened, but I'm just saying it was perpetrated by people within our own government to get us into the Iraq War that we didn't need to go into. But we went into it anyway because of money and because of so-called, and not to say that terrorism in Muslim nations and other countries does not happen, but at the same time, that was a false flag that was perpetrated by people within our own government. They do attacks, they do shootings, they do this to promote more gun control, to promote more. In this sequence of a false flag attack, he's trying to get in a war with the Saviors. Now, they do need to go into a war with the Saviors, but they do it not by... Richard should have done it a different way in trying to convince Ezekiel emotionally and see what, and compare what the other kingdoms are going through with this man Negan and the Saviors. This is what should have been done. But he wants to falsify attacks on the kingdom to go with his agenda and go to the war of the Saviors, which was not good. Benjamin died as a result of that. We all know that Jared is a piece of crap savior. Okay? But if they had the whole cantaloupes, none of that would happen. I get it. He died over one cantaloupe. That is disgusting. But Richard was traitorous. He tried to throw Carol under the bus. He tried to get another person killed with the same plan. He would have screwed up again when he gave the cantaloupe up. So my point of this is that false flags actually do happen, and that many times you have to use violence to protect people who are going through violence or are doing violence to you. It's self-defense. It's the protecting oneself. That is nature. You cannot be peaceful all the time. You can be an isolationist, but you still have to defend yourself if they come to you. That is the law of nature. It can't go, especially in a zombie world. But I give this episode a 10 out of 10. Great acting. Amazing work. By the producers and by the actors. By Terrence. Amazing work. By Richard, Morgan, all that whole cast of the kingdom. They killed it, man. And we only got 3 episodes left. This is the best season of The Walking Dead as of late. It really is. Folks, send me your comments in the description box. Tell me if you think that Richard's plan is based on real, live, false flag attacks. Do you think Morgan should have killed Richard? Do you think he was too much? Do you think the kingdom will be a front for this war that's really coming up? But hit me up in the comments. Subscribe to my channel. And everybody have a great weekend. Peace.